A Valpo graduate student is in serious condition after being stabbed.
And an update on the Brower lawsuit.
A beautiful start to our evening, and we're looking at a great start for the rest of the weekend.
We have that and more in this edition of 15 News Now at 5 starts now.
More this edition of 15 News at 5.
At 15 News at 5.
15 News at 5.
15 News at 5.
15 News at 5 starts right now.
Thank you for joining us this evening on 15 News at 5. I'm Carly Bodinus.
And I'm Mason Gleva. Valparaiso University student Varan Rajpusha was stabbed in the neck this past Sunday at a local Planet Fitness in the 1200 block of Strongbow Center Drive. Varun, an international graduate student from India, was transported from the scene for immediate medical care. According to a GoFundMe page set up for Varun's family, he is, quote, in a coma, end quote, and, quote, underwent emergency surgery, end quote. The subject, 24-year-old Jordan Andrade, has been taken into custody on charges of attempted murder and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. In an email sent out to the campus community, President Padilla asked to please join us in keeping Varun in your thoughts and prayers. As mentioned previously, a GoFundMe page has been set up by the North America Telugu Society to help Varun's family pay for the expenses of flying to America and medical bills. If you would like to donate, visit www.gofundme.com/Varun-Pusha-medical-assistant. As of 4 p.m. Thursday, the GoFundMe page was up to over $53,000.
More information about the selling of art from the Brower Art Museum has been released. This past Friday, October 26th, Porter Superior Court Judge Jeffrey L. Thode ruled in favor of dismissing the lawsuit of Richard Brower and Philip Brockington versus President Jose Padilla, the Lutheran University Association, and Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita. The court found a lack of standing in the case. It was also stated that the court further finds that the plaintiffs have failed to state a claim upon which relief can be granted against the named defendant, Todd Rokita, in his official capacity as Indiana Attorney General. The lawsuit originally pushed back the sale of the art and the planned remodeling in the residence halls. However, with this ruling, the sale of the art can continue and the plan to update Warenberg and Brant halls can go on to its next steps. This is a developing story, and VUTV will have more updates as more information is available.
This past Saturday, Alpha Gamma Delta hosted their annual Alpha Gam Bags Hunger event from noon to 2:30. Alpha Gam raises money by selling shirts, rubber ducks, and hosting a cornhole or bags tournament here on campus. The money raised goes to Feeding America, and the campus showed up to support. Phi Psi and Phi Delta 2 were the final two teams playing in the double elimination tournament, with the champion being crowned to Phi Psi. It was a great Saturday afternoon on the West Lawn within the FSL community and raising money for a wonderful cause.
Lambda Chi's yearly philanthropy event is back for another year. St. Baldrick's is happening in Ballroom C on November 5th from noon to 4 p.m. At the event, people shave their heads to support pediatric cancer research. According to St. Baldrick's website, 1 in 5 children diagnosed with any type of pediatric cancer does not survive. Since 2005, St. Baldrick's has granted over $388 million in childhood cancer research. The fraternity already has many shavies signed up for this year. If you are interested, you can sign up to shave your head and fundraise as such. Or you may just donate to Lambda Chi is also tabling in the Union tomorrow if you would like to sign up or have any other questions. We have 15 Weather's Zoe Barajaz in the studio. So Zoe, how cold is it going to be this weekend?
It's actually going to be pretty nice this weekend. So we're actually looking at a warm-up on the way, but we're also looking at some rain chances next week. But like I said, we are going to have a beautiful weekend coming up. So currently here in Valparaiso, we're sitting at 52 degrees under partly cloudy skies with a south-southwest wind going at 13 miles an hour. Now let's look around the area. We got, like I said, 52 here in Valpo. A little up north, it's a little colder in Michigan City at 50 degrees. If we head a little bit to our southwest, they're a little bit warmer in that part of Illinois, with a 54 degrees over there in Kankakee and 55 over there in Joliet. Now heading out to our east, they are a little colder with temperatures in the lower 50s. And I will come back a little bit later with a look at your future radar and forecast.
Thanks, Zoe. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Valpo sports.
But first, it looks like an end is in sight for the auto workers strike. Stick with us.
The last holdout in the longest U.S. auto strike in 25 years now appears to be on board. On Monday, a source says GM has joined Ford and Chrysler's parent company in reaching a tentative deal with auto workers after nearly 2 months. In today's Consumer Watch, a look at what the end of the strike means for the car industry and you.
An unprecedented strike appears to be ending. On Monday, GM and the United Auto Workers Union appeared to have reached a tentative agreement, according to a source familiar with negotiations. The move ends nearly 7 weeks of an unprecedented strike against the Detroit Big Three automakers, GM, Ford, and Chrysler owner Stellantis. A total of nearly 50,000 workers walked out of their jobs during some part of the strike, demanding better benefits and pay, citing the auto industry's record corporate profits.
We haven't had a raise in years. We've been giving and giving and giving.
While the exact terms of the deal have not yet been released, it is expected to be along the lines of the deals already announced at Ford and Stellantis, including guaranteed pay increases and the return of cost of living adjustment, which combined would lift workers' pay more than 30%. Monday's move comes 2 days after the union expanded the picket line to GM's engine plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Last Wednesday, the union announced a deal with Ford, and on Saturday, it announced a deal with Stellantis.
For every member, the money will be significant. For many members, it will be life-changing.
So what does this mean for the auto industry and for consumers? The long labor strike hurt the automakers financially. A prolonged dispute would create a painful domino effect that would trickle down to vehicle part suppliers, car dealers, and eventually to you, even if you're not in the market for a car. That's because experts say it could have led to fewer cars on lots and made it harder for shops to repair your car. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
Here's a bit of good news for your skyrocketing grocery bill. The price of turkey is way down. According to Wells Fargo's Thanksgiving food report, 10 to 15 pound gobblers are down 29% from last year. Now, that's the wholesale price, but it has resulted in a 13% drop at regional grocery stores. You can thank good old supply and demand for the price break. Farmers raised more birds this year to meet Thanksgiving's demand. Also, the price of refrigerated trucking used to transport turkeys is down. Even better yet, the price of turkeys tends to fall further in November when supply is flooded, so you might end up paying even less for your holiday centerpiece this year.
The Kenergy is strong with this doll. Mattel has released a new Ken that is not just Ken. He is designed after Ryan Gosling's much-loved character in the Barbie movie. Ken is wearing the now legendary I Am Kenough sweatshirt, sweatpants, headband, and horse charm. Orders for the made-to-order item are on sale at MattelCreations.com. Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House is not included.
Coming up after the break, Zoe Barajaz will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at Valpo sports happening from this past week. Stick with us.
Taking a look around the area on our radar, we see not a lot is actually going on. So let's take a look at some future temperatures then. So tonight we're looking at temperatures to drop into the low to mid 40s around the area with a 42 here in Valpo. A little bit colder out to our west in the lower 40s and also out to our east, which will actually get into the upper 30s. Keep it going. We got temperatures will rise back up. Here is tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be sitting at about 54 degrees here in Valpo. Again, a little bit warmer down to our south with a 57 down there in Rensselaer, and a little colder closer to the lake around 50 in Benton Harbor. Again, those temperatures will drop. Here is 8 a.m. around Saturday. Looking at 44 degrees here in Valpo, 45 out there in Lansing. A lot colder out there in Rockford, sitting at 38. Here is Saturday around the time of kickoff for the football game. We've got 51 degrees here in Valpo and a little bit in the same, more of the same down for our south in those lower 50s, and then upper 40s up there in the Chicago area. Again, more of the same Saturday night. Temperatures will be in those upper 40s, and then again on Sunday in the low 50s. So our future radar, we're looking at clouds to come moving through. They'll start building up Friday in the morning, and then you see this cloud of rain will come in around 8:30 into the Chicago area. It should dissipate by the time it reaches us, but there is a slight chance that it could be a little rainy to start your Saturday. Here's Saturday at 11:30. We'll see those clouds start to break up and then build in and break up even more throughout our Sunday. So tonight we're looking at a low of around 38 with clouds, partly cloudy skies. And on our Friday, we're looking at, again, some partly cloudy skies and a high of 55. Back to you guys.
The weather looks a lot nicer for Parents' Weekend this weekend. Last year it was kind of...
last year was horrible.
It was very, very blah. After the break, we'll take a look at this week's past sports. Stick with us. The Valpo football team lost on the road to Butler 17-7 last Saturday. Valpo's QB, Rowan Keefe, threw for 11 completions on 19 attempts for 172 yards. Keefe threw an interception and no touchdowns. Solomon Davis had one catch for 70 yards and a touchdown. The Beacons are now 1-7 on the season, having lost their last 4 games. The Beacons will be at home this Saturday for Parents' Weekend. The game is at 1 p.m. at Brown Field against Dayton on ESPN+.
The Valpo women's volleyball team had a big win versus Belmont this past Friday at the Arc, winning 3-0. However, they then lost to Murray State 2-3 this past Saturday. The Beacons are now 16-10 on the season and will play Bradley on the road this Friday on ESPN+.
Last night, the Valpo men's basketball team hosted St. Mary's of the Woods in their preseason home opener and won 82-71. Their first official regular season game will be Monday at home at the Arc. They will play Trinity Christian. The Valpo men's basketball team is led by Coach Roger Powell Jr. The team is also led by Jerome Palm, Connor Barrett, and Darius D'Avrio. We wish all the best of luck to our Beacon sports teams.
I'm really proud of the Valpo volleyball team. Seems like they're actually doing pretty good, even though they just lost.
They've had a pretty good year. They've been kind of spurty, but they've had a pretty good year overall.
Yeah. Coming up, we will have a final look at our 7-day forecast.
Taking a look at our 7-day, we're looking at, like I said, that nice warm-up going into the weekend, and we're looking at potentially 63 degrees on Monday. But like I said, there is that chance of rain going into next week that we all might have to watch out for.
Monday looks glorious if that holds. Thanks, Zoe. Hey, question for you. What's your favorite fall activity?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'd have to say apple picking, even though I did not get to go this year, which I was super sad about.
Same. Mine would have to be apple picking, or I was at a Notre Dame game this past Saturday. That's always a highlight of my fall.
I was also at the Notre Dame game. That was pretty good, but I just love pumpkin picking. I love the atmosphere, being out in a pumpkin patch. It's my favorite fall activity for sure.
That's fair.
From all of us at VUTV, thank you for joining us this evening.